Welcome back to the channel and to the first episode of Goji's Thrift Box. What is Goji's Thrift Box? Well, every once in a while I'll go out to a thrift store, a flea market, maybe a vintage toy show. Maybe I'll find someone selling cheap vintage toys online. Something that I like, that I think is a bargain, and I'll pick it up and take it home and put it in the thrift box. So what I'm going to do here is pick an item out of the thrift box and tell you about it. So let's see what we get out of the thrift box today. Well, what do we have here? Let's take a look at this guy. This is the giant ground sloth, created by Tyco Toys, a manufacturer primarily known for slot car racing sets. But in the late 1980s, they got into the action figure game with Dino Riders. Dino Riders was an action figure line comprised of very small 1/24 scale action figures who were partnered with dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals. The dinosaurs had various armor and weapons that they would wear into battle, and a few of the larger ones were motorized. There was a tie-in cartoon for Dino Riders, which lasted 14 episodes and aired as part of the Marvel Action Universe. The story concerned the heroic Valorians battling the evil Rulon Alliance. Both factions went back in time to prehistoric Earth, where the Valorians befriended dinosaurs, and the Rulons controlled them with brainwashing devices. Pretty typical 1980s fare. Good faction, bad faction, similar gimmick, fight. The animated series featured a lot of voice actors that kids from the 1980s would recognize, like Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, Rob Paulson, Dan Gilvezan, Charlie Adler, and Jack Angel. This ground sloth was part of the final wave of Dino Riders, which was subtitled Ice Age. And besides the ground sloth, there was a woolly mammoth, a saber-toothed tiger, and a giant warthog. So this guy is a very simple toy. Just 5 points of articulation in the limbs and the head. He can stand upright or down on all fours. And this original release came with some armor and weapons and a small figure that he could partner with. The first sculpting on this guy is really nice. He's got just a little bit of paint detail on his claws, on both the hands and the feet. And he's got some really cool looking eyes. The eyes are done in like a translucent plastic, so they seem lifelike. After the Dino Riders series was canceled, Tyco reused a lot of the dinosaur and prehistoric animal molds in 1992, when they produced a line of toys that tied in with the Smithsonian Institution. Basically, the Smithsonian line were the Dino Riders animal figures without any of the armor, weapons, or any of the other science fiction accoutrement that the Dino Riders came with. In the Smithsonian line, the giant ground sloth was released in a 2-pack with the saber-toothed cat, aka the Smilodon. But even when that Smithsonian line ended, Tyco was not yet done with its dinosaur molds. In 1993, Tyco created the toy line for Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, which was based on the animated series, which was in turn based on a comic book by creator Mark Schultz. The original version of the comic was titled Xenozoic Tales, and it was published in the late 1980s by Kitchen Sink Press. The comic then moved to Marvel's Epic imprint, and I have issue 1 of that here, signed by Mr. Mark Schultz himself, where it was retitled the more familiar Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. After its run at Marvel, it moved over to Topps Comics in 1994. The Cadillacs and Dinosaurs cartoon, which was animated by Nelvana, lasted 13 episodes. And as of this recording, those episodes can be viewed free on Tubi TV. In recent years, there have been many different toy lines from the 80s who have made a comeback in various forms, but Dino Riders has not really been one of them, at least not in their original form. But back in 2020, Mattel did release this box set called Rulon Warriors Battle Pack, which features various minifigures based on the original Dino Riders. One of the reasons I picked up this set was to display this beautiful mural-like box art, where you can see the battle of the original Dino Riders. Goes all the way around the box. And we can see here the contents. And it continues on that side. On the back, we get a little write-up about the original Dino Riders. It's a war of survival in 65 million BC, the age of the dinosaur. And here's what the contents of the pack look like. You get 6 evil Rulon dinosaurs in purple, and 3 of the Valorian dinosaurs in green, and a bunch of different minifigures that are only about an inch tall, and they can ride in the various dinosaurs. So not exactly the reissues that Dino Rider fans were hoping for, but it's something. I believe this is still easy to get if you're so inclined. Bags of dinosaur toys are something I see quite often at thrift shops. And a lot of the time they're filled with the very common dollar store type dinosaurs and things that aren't very rare or aren't vintage at all. But every once in a while, you find something like this guy. And I was very excited to find him in a thrift bag full of dinosaurs, which cost me probably about $4. So I hope you enjoyed that look at this giant ground sloth out of my thrift box and the history behind it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.